Like, oh, let me get out of this. Oh, yeah, get on over here a little bit. I got a lot of sun today. Sunny San Diego is what they call it. First of all, greetings, everyone. Greetings. So today, as you join me, as we have this conversation, we're going to talk about initiated, past, and raised. We're going to talk about what it is to be a Mason. That whole thing. And by doing that, first you need to define what is a Mason. What is a Freemason? This is the question you have to ask yourself once you have gone through this process of being initiated, passed, and raised. What does it all mean? What does being a part of this society means for you? And for where you are trying to go and what you're trying to achieve in life? Is this part of the process? Being initiated, passed, and raised. I need for you just for a moment to think on that, not jurisdictionally, but as a society of Freemasons, because a lot of us never will enjoy the full totality of Freemasonry, but most of us will enjoy Freemasonry. And a lot of us will travel to foreign countries, as it says, and a lot of us will receive master wishes as such. It just depends on the individual. So today we're going to have this topic, this conversation in regards to being initiated, passed, and raised. And what does Freemasonry look like? How do you grab this thing? How do you bring this whole thing into focus? And I'm not going to forget my sisters who are a part of the Order of the Eastern Star. And I'm going to talk to you also about what it is to be an Eastern Star and how does that assist and aid you in walking and winding the labyrinth of life. How does that come to play in what you're trying to accomplish and grab hold of? I would say, first of all, we need to remove the stigma of Freemasonry as far as being this big party affair, this semi-Greek type of organization. I believe that once you're able to remove that stigma, be it from your jurisdiction or wherever you may be at, once you're able to remove that out the way, then you begin the real process of being a part of Freemasonry. And I say that only because within the African American community of Masonic bodies, there's a stigma attached to Freemasonry like no other. You know, we hear people calling each other bogus. We hear people talking about they are pledging, all sorts of things within the construct or confine of Freemasonry. Freemasonry has nothing to do with any of that. Freemasonry has nothing to do with you pledging. None of that. Freemasonry is not even a damn fraternity. It is a society. There's nowhere in any Masonic rituals where I've personally read that says Freemasonry is a fraternity. It is clearly a society. And you must ask yourself, in being part of this society, what makes you limited in where you're at? Why you can't enjoy the fullness of the society? Is it because people have set up boundaries regarding Freemasonry? And why would they set up boundaries regarding Freemasonry? Why have jurisdictions set boundaries as far as who they will consider to be a Freemason versus who they will not consider to be a Freemason? I would say the process of enjoying Freemasonry in this society is based upon relationships. And when I'm talking about relationships, it's based upon when you have been initiated, passed, and raised, and you begin this journey of receiving master's wages. You build relationships along the way. You build relationships beyond your own jurisdiction. See, a small-minded person will only consider Freemasonry where they're at. They only consider Freemasonry to be legitimately where they at. A small-minded person sees Masonry in a small box. They don't see Masonry being universal because the universe doesn't beg anybody for anything. It is universal. In the process, when you are asking someone or when someone is asking you to accept them in any type of way, fashion, or form without doing a thorough investigation to find out who you are, then there's a problem. There's truly a problem. See, when you talk about the universality of Freemason, that is clearly to say no matter where you go as a Mason, no matter what continent you step on, what country you may go to, you're going to find a brother Mason. This is why in the United States, Masonry is so watered down. It is so, it's different. And this is why I often talk about individuals who have the opportunity to actually travel and go outside of the United States. You're going to see Masonry different. Your mentality is going to change. If all you ever have done is travel within the United States as far as dealing with Freemasonry, you haven't seen Freemasonry. You have not seen Freemasonry. You've just had a drop of water. You haven't seen the vast ocean. You haven't, man, it's just different. And I say that because what happens a lot of times here in the United States, when you're talking Freemasonry here, the circle is small. And when I say the circle is small, it's clearly to say that most individuals are only they're stuck in their mindset. They're stuck because this is all they've ever been taught. They're stuck because they don't go and research. They're stuck because they don't go pick up books and read them for themselves, come to their own conclusion in regards to what they're searching for, what they're looking for, what they want to get out of Freemasonry. You think because they're throwing a party tonight, I'm gonna go party. See, that's the wrong mentality. You know, do me a favor while you're here. Could you please hit the thumbs up button? I appreciate it. Could you please hit the thumbs up button? And hit the like and subscribe to the channel if you like the contents of it. I appreciate it. But as we get back into this topic real quick in regards to Freemasonry, I would tell anybody, you know, leave the country if you're a Freemason and go somewhere and enjoy Freemasonry someplace else besides here in the United States. Do it, and you'll see the difference. You will no longer be in a box. And this is what I like about being in California, because California, as far as Masonry is concerned, any place that has Navy, docks and all that stuff, any place that where you can go and you can be able to fellowship in that way, you have so many different people coming in and out, and you have an opportunity to meet brothers from across the waters, okay, within the military service, and they bring a friend along. And that's the uniqueness I like about being here. Although a lot of times a lot of my brothers in the craft are out on ships and they come back, you know, and they're trying to get caught up in things, you know, that's the difficult part. But other than that, when you have the opportunity to fellowship with brothers from abroad and across the waters, the atmosphere is different, bruh. The way they see Masonry is different. See, when you begin to talk about, well, I don't do this and I don't do that, well, bruh, you haven't been outside of your box. You've only been inside your circle, your jurisdiction, your affiliation. That's all you got. You need more than that. Greetings, everybody who's coming on. You need more than that. If all you got is your circle, that box, man, you're missing the universality of Freemasonry. Because I would tell you this, when you come into the Masonic lodge and you walk between those two pillars, you're stepping into another dimension. You're probably saying, this guy has lost his mind. What do you mean that you're stepping into another dimension? When you become a Freemason and you walk between those two pillars, first of all, you have to understand as an inter-apprentice what those two pillars represent, what they mean. If you know anything about traveling, there's always two pillars that you go through. Once you have done that, once you walk between those two pillars, then your journey begins. Just as the planets rotate around the sun, your journey begins in life. You see that altar that's in the center of the lodge, that is where you make and take your obligation and your oath, which are totally two different things. An obligation and oath are totally two different things. You know, so your oath is to God, your obligation is to your lodge. So when you've done those things and you get up and you begin that mission, it always tells you before you do anything that you always should invoke the blessings of deity. And why does it say deity? It says that only because within the confines of Freemasonry, who does not really care about your religious belief, but tells you that you should put your faith in your beliefs, in the thing that you in your religion. I mean, as far as if you're a Muslim and you're a Mason, that's your light. If you're a Christian and you're a Mason, that's your light. If you are whatever you may be as far as your religion is concerned, that's your light. That book, that holy volume of sacred law, that book that you carry, that's your light. You know, but you know, most brothers don't see it that way. And I'm not trying to convince you to change your mind. I'm trying to convince you to open your mind. Stop being so closed-minded. Open your mind to see things from a different perspective. I can't always hold my own perspective on things. Because in Freemason, we are in search of truth, backed by facts. Not my opinion, but facts. Give me some truth based with facts. A lot of people would tell you today, Freemasonry did not derive from Africa or the Moors, or Freemasonry came from the stone builders. Well, hell, who are better builders than those who built the pyramids? Who are better builders than them? Who are better builders than those who build the Grand Lodge of Lux? Have you seen it? Who are better builders than them? So when you tell me that it came out of the stone guilds over in England somewhere, that's a legend. I know what I've read as far as that is concerned, but that is a legend. That is truly a legend. There's a smidget bit of truth as far as, you know, there was trade secrets, right? Trade secrets. If you are a operative Masons right now, you know that there are trade secrets when you become a apprentice, and then you go to your journeyman, and then you master both of those because you've been found to be proficient in both of those trades, okay? And then as you continue to work on it, you become a master at those things. And that's the same thing that occurs in Freemasonry, okay? Just like those who built those pyramids, they were stone masons. Huh? Oh, you didn't see that one coming. Just like those who built the Grand Lodge of Lux, they were masons. Long before you get over in Europe, okay? And for those of us who have read and educated ourselves in history and know a little something about the Moors, they were sellers. They was doing their thing. They was over trade. You know, so there's a lot of things that are at play within the confines of Freemasonry that when we see it, we can't fathom it because we've been told this is where it comes from. And that's all we ever get. I'll tell you what, if you're in Philadelphia right now, if you go to the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania, right? If you go to the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania, they have a room that is dedicated and decorated like if you was back in Africa. Why would the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania have a room, a lodge room that is dedicated as if you was back in Africa, since Masonry came from Scotland, England, wherever, over there? I mean, come on. Why would they do that? Why in most Masonic rituals, look at where it was at. It didn't come from there. Well, what was Solomon then? It's the legend of King Solomon, right? It's the legend of Hiram Abiff, King of Tyre. Where are these places at? These places that they talk about in your Masonic ritual are not in Europe. Where's Joppa located? It's not in Europe. So when people bring you this mess talking about, yeah, it was the Stone Guild Masons and they had the trade secrets, and then they allowed educated people to come in, and and then it became this and became that. There's some truth to that, but not like you think. There's partial truth in there. I'm talking about when you go to these Grand Lodges of States and you see how they have their room decorated in an African content, then they know. They know, Even when you're reading Albert's Pike book that so many like to throw up and bring out, even when you're reading his material, he's often referring to Egypt and places over in Africa, different countries and things like that. So they all go there. They all take from that. Even when you get into your Bible, every person in the Bible that became a leader as such, even Moses, Aaron, those guys, all of them went through Egypt. All of them went through Egypt. Even when Christ himself was being pursued in his family, where did they go? Where did they go? They went amongst people who looked like them. And they couldn't find the boy until he was 11 years old. Come on, people. Just take some time and come out of your small box and expand your thoughts, because it tells you as an apprentice, you're supposed to be occupying your mind with useful knowledge. And if that is what you're doing, then when you become a fellow craft, you will understand the totality of walking up the winding stairs of the 3, 5, and 7. And when you get there and you knock on the door and you walk in, it's a whole nother dimension now. It was not like if he was on the ground floor. Now you're on the second floor looking down and seeing the beautiful pavement that you have now just ascended to, and you walk between those pillars again. Now you in another level of the universe. See, the mentality has to change. The thought process has to change. I cannot bash on my brothers. Look, I have a lot of fun, going back and forth with some of the brothers who are Prince Hall. I do. I get a big ass kick out of it. I do. But I can't bash them, because if I'm bashing them, I'm bashing myself. That's the thought process. How can I go at you and try to destroy you? I'm destroying me. See, when you have been really raised up here, all of that changes, bro. All of that changes. But when you are when you still on the Masonic pavement floor, when you're still there, and all you can ever do is look up, you haven't been raised. You haven't gotten there yet. So you're gonna always have a small-minded mentality when it comes to looking at the vast universality of Freemasonry. You're going to always have that small thought. It's going to only be where you're at. When you go visit other lodges and they don't do what you do, you can't say it's wrong. You can't say it's wrong, because it's not done that way in your jurisdiction. That was my very first lesson in Freemasonry. My very first lesson as I began my travels and wanting to go to different lodges and different states. That was my very first lesson. Just because the way you do it in your lodge, we don't do it that way. We do it this way. And who's to say that I'm wrong? This is our constitution. This is our bylaws. You are a guest in my house. Period. And I had a seat. I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm thankful that you allowed me to come in and to see me for who I am as a brother in the Society of Freemasons. So when you're able to grasp that, man, you don't even trip no more. Most of us still tripping on small stuff. But I'm asking you to rise above the small mentality. I'm asking that you see that when you are cutting your brothers up, even though you may not like what they're doing, you may not like slaughter. I'm saying it because I seen what you say about the young man, or who, I don't know his age, but I see what you say about him. You may not like him, and that's okay. If you think that you can do better than he's doing, what he's building, you go do it. You do it. I can't cut him down. I can't cut nobody down. I'll talk about you, but I'm not gonna bash you in such a way to just slaughter you. Lack of a better word, right? I'm not gonna do that. Now, I have even grown. I'm a past Grand Master. Even I have grown to see my brothers from various jurisdictions to be who they are. What does a Mason look like? How does he carry himself? Does he exemplifies the example of being a Mason? And if that answer is yes, that's who he is. The same thing applies to a sister of the Order of the Eastern Star. When she walks into a room, does she carry herself like one of those 5 herons? Do she exemplifies the fact that she is a member of the Order of the Eastern Star? Is she all of that in a bag of chips? Is she carrying herself in a motherly way, a sisterly way, a friendly way? Is she carrying herself like a widow, someone who's upright, someone who's been there and done that, who understands life mission in its totality, how it can bury you, how you can come out of being buried? Is she representing that? Has she walked the labyrinth of life? Has she understood those 5 points and what actually they mean to her and her colors and how she's supposed to carry herself? Man, when you get there, this right here changes. You know, when you get there, this changes. Your mentality changes, the way you see things, your thought process when you see another brother. Although you may not consider him to be a recognized Masonic brother because of his Grand Lodge, but when you see him and you have that conversation with him in regards to Freemason, although you would say, I can't talk to him because we don't recognize him. That makes no sense at all. None. It took me a minute to get over that hump. It took me a minute to get over the hump. I've been there. Can't talk to him. He's not a Mason. Have you tried him? Well, you know, his paperwork sound like some slave shit. His paperwork, you know, it didn't come from here. Who says that the paperwork has to come from there in order to be a Mason? Who made that statement? Where did that come from? So you need your paperwork to come from there in order to be a Mason. That's what you need. You know. So when you get there, it's a lot better. When you get there, and it's going to take some time for you to get there, because when you do, brothers who have been overseas in the Navy and the military on these different bases, they know exactly what I'm talking about, because I will guarantee you this, and I know what I'm talking about. This is factual. When brothers who have served in the military and they go overseas, they're not asking you if you're modern, free, international, PHO, PHA. They ain't doing that shit. You know what they're doing? They're saying, look, that's my brother right there. What's up, Square? How you doing, man? Everything good? Yeah, everything's square, man. Everything's great, yeah. You know, we got a meeting going on tonight. We're going to meet. You going to come? Yeah, I'm going to shoot through. Yeah, where y'all at? We're over here, such and such. That's what they doing. That's what they doing. Trust me. My lodge brother, Worshipful Master W.B. Smith, you know, he's a former chief. Well, chief, well, you can't be a former chief. He's not in the military. He's a chief in the military. He's told me some stories, you know, going overseas and sitting in other lodges. And I'm like, wow, that's nice, bro. He said, Hawkins, you need to do that, you know, upon his return. So when people tell you you can't do these things, man, it's not true. It is not true. Oh, you need lineage. You need this. Come on. Masonry is bigger than that. Masonry is bigger than that. And for anybody to tell you that it's not, they're lying to you. So, my brothers, keep searching for that which is lost. And you're going to find it. It's right before your eyes. Back it up with facts. Until next time, I appreciate you. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the channel. And if you ever want to come onto this platform and talk and have a conversation, you're welcome to do so. Hit me up. Talk to you later. Peace. Keep your light on, stay out the bushes. I am not your study guide, but I'm here to help you study. Peace.